She was the daughter of one of history's most feared dictators. Raised in the shadow of the Kremlin, surrounded by power, fear, and ideology, her life was dictated by one man, her father, Joseph Stalin. But unlike her father, she would spend her life searching for truth, freedom, and faith. This is the story of Svetlana Alliluyeva, Stalin's daughter who left behind communism to embrace Catholicism. Svetlana Yosifovna Stalina was born in 1926, the only daughter of Joseph Stalin, the ruler of the Soviet Union. From the outside, she seemed to have everything: privilege, status, and the love of a father who ruled an empire. But inside the Kremlin walls, life was far from a fairy tale. Quote from Svetlana's memoirs: "There was a wall between my father and me. I could never cross it. Stalin saw himself as a godlike figure, shaping a new Soviet society through force and fear. But to Svetlana, he was just her father, distant, controlling, and unpredictable. By the time Svetlana was 12, her world was already filled with tragedy. Her mother, Nadezhda Alliluyeva, had died under mysterious circumstances, officially ruled a suicide, but rumors swirled of something more sinister. Many of her uncles and family members were executed or imprisoned. The message was clear. No one, not even Stalin's daughter, was safe from his wrath. As she grew older, Svetlana became more aware of the cracks in the Soviet system. She studied literature and history, but the truth she uncovered about her father's brutal regime horrified her. Her faith in communism was already shaken, but her journey away from Soviet ideology truly began with love. In her early 20s, she fell in love with a filmmaker, but her father forbade the marriage. Heartbroken, she realized that even as Stalin's child, she was a prisoner of his will. Shortly after, she was pressured into marriage with a young Soviet officer, Grigory Morozov. They had a son together, Joseph, but the marriage was short-lived. Stalin disapproved of Morozov, and the pressure was unbearable. They divorced after just 3 years. Her second marriage to Andrei Zhdanov, the son of one of Stalin's top officials, was another attempt to fit into her father's world. They had a daughter, Yekaterina, but the marriage was equally unhappy. When Stalin died in 1953, Svetlana was free, but only in name. After Stalin's death in 1953, she experienced newfound freedoms, and she was baptized into the Russian Orthodox Church, a significant act of defiance against her father's legacy. Her baptism was both a personal rejection of the atheistic ideology she had grown up with and an attempt to find spiritual grounding. But the Soviet Union never truly let her go. It wasn't until 1967 that she made a daring decision. She walked into the U.S. Embassy in India and defected to the West. The world was stunned. Stalin's daughter had rejected the Soviet Union, but this was just the beginning of her spiritual journey. In America, Svetlana found freedom, but not peace. She changed her name to Lana Peters, married multiple times, and struggled with the weight of her father's legacy. She was free from the Soviet Union, but she was still searching for something deeper. In the 1980s, Svetlana found herself in England. It was there that she encountered the writings of St. Augustine. She was drawn to the depth and universality of the Catholic Church. She admired Pope John Paul II, a man who had resisted communism with courage and faith. Quote from Svetlana: "I have gone through atheism, socialism, Hinduism, and finally, God has led me to the Catholic Church." And so, in 1982, in a quiet ceremony in Cambridge, she officially became Catholic. For the first time, she felt that she had found a church not tied to nationalism, not limited by borders, a church that was truly universal. It had taken her decades, from Soviet atheism to orthodoxy to finally Catholicism. Her journey to Catholicism was long and winding. She was drawn to the beauty of Christian faith, but it was the writings of Saint Augustine, the example of Pope John Paul II, and the witness of Catholic converts that led her home. In 1982, Svetlana was received into the Catholic Church. For the daughter of Stalin, the man who declared war on God, this was nothing short of miraculous. Svetlana lived the rest of her life in obscurity, moving between the US, England, and even briefly returning to Russia. But her heart remained Catholic, despite all the struggles. She passed away in 2011 in a small town in Wisconsin. No state funeral, no statues, just a quiet, Catholic burial far from the empire her father had ruled. Quote from Svetlana: "I found the truth not in politics, but in Christ." Her story is one of radical transformation, from the daughter of a dictator to a daughter of God, from a life built on fear to a faith built on love. Her life reminds us that no one, not even the child of history's most ruthless tyrant, is beyond God's reach. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories of faith and history. Until next time, stay curious, seek truth, and God bless.